Have you ever wondered why 95% of traders lose money, yet somehow some of them manage to stay in the game long enough to eventually become profitable? It's not because they have some magical strategy, secret indicator, or perfect entry timing. It's because they understand something far deeper. The battle isn't with the market, it's with your own mind. Most traders approach the market thinking they need to beat it, control it, or force it to give them money. But the truth is, the market can't be beaten. It doesn't care about you. It's neutral, like the ocean. You can't control the waves, but you can learn to ride them. This is where 95% fail. They enter the game with emotions, beliefs, and expectations that work against them. They want the market to behave according to their plan, and when it doesn't, they get frustrated, they fight back, and eventually, they burn out. The real professionals, the 5% who win consistently, know something different. They've trained their minds to stop expecting certainty. They've accepted one powerful truth that most traders refuse to face. Anything can happen. This single belief changes everything. When you accept uncertainty, you remove fear. And without fear, you stop making emotional mistakes. You no longer hesitate when opportunity appears, and you no longer panic when a trade goes against you. Instead, you flow with the market. You start to think in probabilities, not guarantees. Let's pause for a moment, because this is where most traders break down. You can have the best strategy, the cleanest charts, and the perfect setup. But if your mindset isn't right, the market will expose you. The market is a mirror reflecting back your beliefs, your fears, and your weaknesses. If you lack discipline, it will show. If you trade from greed, it will punish you. If you avoid losses, the market will hand you even bigger ones. The truth is, your trading results are a direct reflection of your mental framework. And for most traders, that framework is broken from the start. We're taught from childhood to avoid uncertainty, to seek control, to fear mistakes. But in trading, these instincts destroy you. The market thrives on chaos. The traders who succeed are the ones who stop resisting it and start adapting to it. Think about this. When price moves on a chart, it's not magic. It's the sum of millions of traders' beliefs, buyers versus sellers, fear versus greed, chaos versus discipline. That means at any moment, anything can happen. A sudden news spike, a whale's order, a shift in sentiment, and the chart flips instantly. Professionals don't get shaken by this. They expect it. They embrace it. The 95% of losing traders, on the other hand, try to predict and control every tick. When price goes against them, they fight it. They add to losers, hoping to prove they're right. Or they freeze, unable to cut the trade, hoping the market would come back. You know how that ends. Bigger losses, blown account, emotional exhaustion. Now here's the twist. And this is where we separate winners from losers. Losing traders eventually learn, but they learn the hard way. Pain teaches them what success refuses to. They start realizing that it's not about being right. It's about surviving long enough to stay in the game. They learn to cut losses quickly without hesitation, manage risk before thinking about profit, focus on the next trade, not the last one, accept that a losing trade does not define them. This shift doesn't happen overnight. It often takes years of failure before traders get it. But once they do, something incredible happens. Their results start changing without changing their strategy. Why? Because their mindset finally aligns with the reality of the market. And here's the secret. The market rewards those who think in probabilities. Professionals know they don't have to be right on every trade. They only need to manage risk, stay disciplined, and position themselves where probabilities are in their favor. Over time, that consistency compounds. Trading isn't about prediction, it's about preparation. It's about creating a mental framework where losses are normal, wins are expected, and emotions stay controlled. You stop fearing the market, and you start flowing with it. Most traders enter the market dreaming of financial freedom. They picture the lifestyle, fast cars, beach houses, quitting their 9 to 5. They believe that trading is the shortcut, but the reality hits fast. The market doesn't care about your dreams. It doesn't care about your goals. It doesn't even care if you win or lose. And that's the first hard truth. The market is neutral. Your beliefs and emotions create your results. This is where 95% of traders fail. They come in with expectations, and when reality doesn't match, they spiral. One losing trade turns into revenge trading. One missed move leads to FOMO trades. One emotional mistake destroys an entire week's profits. Professional traders, the top 5% who consistently win, see the game differently. They don't fight the market, they flow with it. Instead of trying to control what happens next, they accept uncertainty and prepare for it. That's why, while most traders blow accounts, the pros survive long enough to profit. The hidden trap, needing to be right. One of the biggest reasons 95% of traders fail is because they approach trading as if being right equals making money. It feels logical. If you predict correctly, you should profit, right? But in trading, that mindset kills you. Imagine this. You take a trade believing with absolute certainty that the price will go up. You're convinced. You even double your size because it can't possibly fail. But then, the market reverses. Suddenly, you're trapped. Now emotions take over. I can't cut it, it'll come back. I'll add more to reduce my average. I just need one bounce to recover. Sound familiar? This is how accounts get destroyed. Professional traders understand a simple truth. You can be wrong on 60% of your trades and still be profitable if you manage your risk. They don't tie their identity to being right. They focus on preserving capital so they can keep playing the game tomorrow. That's the key difference. Amateurs want to be right. Professionals want to survive. Your brain versus the market. Let's dig deeper into why this happens. Our brains are hardwired against trading success. From childhood, we're taught to avoid uncertainty. We crave control, predictability, and safety. But trading flips all of that upside down. The market is uncertainty. Risk is unavoidable. Control is an illusion. Your brain interprets a losing trade as danger, just like facing a wild animal. This triggers your fight or flight response. That's why you panic. That's why you freeze on stop losses. That's why you overtrade after losing. Your emotional brain hijacks your logical one. Professional traders rewire this response. They train their minds to accept risk before they enter a trade. When you accept beforehand that this trade might lose, the outcome no longer controls you. You've removed fear before it shows up. This mental shift, from fear to acceptance, separates winners from losers. The illusion of control. Here's another trap. Believing that if you just find the right strategy, indicator, or guru, you'll finally master the market. You won't. The truth? There's no magic system. The same pattern that works today might fail tomorrow. The same setup that brought you profit last week could bring losses this week. Why? Because the market is alive. It reflects millions of decisions happening in real time. There are too many variables for anyone to predict with certainty. So instead of chasing control, successful traders embrace probabilities. They ask, does this setup give me an edge? What's my maximum loss here? Can I repeat this process 100 times without blowing up? That's it. They follow a plan, manage risk, and let the law of large numbers work in their favor. Over hundreds of trades, probabilities win, not perfection. Why 95% still lose, even after knowing this? Here's the painful part. Most traders know these principles, but they still fail. Why? Because knowledge isn't the same as belief. You can read every trading book, watch every webinar, and still blow up your account if your mental framework hasn't changed. Until you believe in uncertainty, You'll still hesitate when the chart moves against you. Until you accept losses, you'll still hold losers hoping they'll turn around. Until you trust probabilities, you'll still over-leverage trying to make it back in one trade. This is why mindset isn't just important, it's everything. The turning point. From losing to learning. For the 5% who succeed, something eventually clicks. They hit rock bottom, an account blown, months of frustration, maybe even years of pain. And then, they finally ask the right question. What if the problem isn't my strategy? What if it's me? This is the turning point. When you stop blaming the market and start taking full responsibility for your actions, you regain control, not of the market, but of yourself. You start treating trading like a business, not a lottery. You define risk before profit. You accept that losing trades are part of the game, not signs of failure. And you realize that the goal isn't to win every battle, it's to survive the war. The 5% mindset formula. Successful traders share a few unshakable beliefs. Anything can happen, so they never get attached to outcomes. Risk is always defined. They know exactly what they'll lose before they enter. Capital preservation comes first. Making money is meaningless if you can't keep it. Consistency beats excitement. Boring, disciplined trading wins. The market owes you nothing. They don't chase, they react. Adopt these beliefs, and you step out of the 95% who lose and start moving toward the 5% who win. Most people will never make this shift. They'll keep searching for shortcuts, keep fighting the market, and keep blowing accounts. But if you're willing to do the mental work, if you're willing to retrain how you think, then you have a shot at building something sustainable. Trading isn't about avoiding pain. It's about using pain as information. Every loss teaches you where your process failed. Every mistake is feedback. This is how professionals turn setbacks into long-term growth. Have you ever wondered why 95% of traders lose money, even when they use the same charts, the same indicators, and the same strategies as the top 5%? The answer isn't in the tools. It's not even in the setups. It's in your mind. Trading isn't a game of prediction. It's a game of perception. The difference between a losing trader and a winning trader isn't who has better information. It's who sees the market for what it truly is, not what they want it to be. Perception creates your reality. Two traders can look at the exact same chart and make completely opposite decisions. Why? Because we don't trade the markets. We trade our beliefs about the markets. Your brain doesn't see price action as it is. It interprets price action through the lens of your past experiences, fears, hopes, and biases. If you've been burned before, you'll hesitate on setups that look perfect. If you just had 3 wins in a row, you might get overconfident and take unnecessary risks. The market is neutral, but your mind isn't. And until you change the way you perceive opportunity, risk, and uncertainty, you'll stay stuck in the same cycle. The flow state of the 5%. Professional traders operate from a completely different mental space. They've trained themselves to enter the zone, a flow state where there's no fear, no hesitation, and no internal conflict. When they're in this state, their actions are effortless. They don't second-guess trades. They don't fight the market. They execute, adapt, and move on. This flow isn't magic. It comes from one powerful shift. They accept that anything can happen. Once you truly internalize that truth, everything changes. You stop trying to force the market to match your expectations. You stop holding on to losing trades because it should reverse. You stop getting angry when a perfect setup fails. Instead, you focus on what's in front of you, the present moment, opportunity. Why most traders never get there? The reason 95% of traders fail is because they fight uncertainty. They want guarantees in a world where guarantees don't exist. They want the market to reward their hard work, their analysis, their patience. But the market doesn't owe them anything. Think about it. When you take a trade and it loses, do you feel frustrated? Do you hesitate to enter the next setup? Do you size up after a loss? trying to make it back? These reactions are signs that your brain hasn't accepted the randomness of outcomes. Every trade is independent. Your last loss says nothing about your next trade's probability, but your emotions, fear, regret, anger, distort your perception and sabotage your execution. The top 5% avoid this trap because they don't need to be right. They know their edge plays out over hundreds of trades, not one. They focus on process, not perfection. Training your mind to think like a pro. Here's the secret. Elite traders don't predict, they prepare. Instead of asking, will the market go up or down? They ask, if it goes up, what's my plan? If it goes down, what's my plan? This mindset shift transforms fear into clarity. It's the difference between reacting emotionally and responding strategically. To rewire your trading psychology, you must train yourself to accept uncertainty, stop fighting randomness and start planning for it. Detach from outcomes. Judge success by following your process, not by winning or losing. Define your risk up front. Know exactly where you'll exit before you enter. Stay fully present. Focus on the now, not your last loss or your next dream. Trust probabilities. One trade means nothing. Your edge plays out over time. When you train your brain this way, trading becomes less emotional, less chaotic, and far more consistent. The danger of mental conflict. Most traders fail because their actions don't match their beliefs. You may say you accept risk, but if you panic when price moves against you, your mind hasn't actually accepted it. This inner conflict leads to hesitation, self-doubt, and poor execution. Elite traders resolve this by aligning their beliefs with reality. They believe in uncertainty. They believe losses are normal. They believe success comes from process, not predictions. Once your beliefs align with the true nature of the market, your actions become effortless. You're no longer battling yourself while trying to trade. The turning point, mastering your perception. Here's the ultimate truth. The market doesn't need to change. You do. The chart doesn't care if you're frustrated, scared, or hopeful. Price will move the same way with or without you. Your job is to adapt to reality, not force reality to adapt to you. This shift, from needing control to embracing uncertainty, is what separates the consistent winners from everyone else. When you get there, trading stops feeling like chaos and starts feeling like flow. Have you ever noticed how no matter how many times you promise yourself, next time I won't make the same mistake, you still do it? You move your stop, you size up after a loss, you exit too early or too late, and then you tell yourself, I knew better. That's the painful reality for most traders. Knowledge isn't the problem. The real problem is that your beliefs and your mental conditioning are working against you. To become a consistently profitable trader, you don't just need better setups, you need a better operating system inside your mind. The invisible force controlling your trades. Think about this. Every decision you make while trading is influenced by your past experiences and the beliefs formed by those experiences. These beliefs act like invisible filters. Two traders can see the same setup. One goes long, one goes short. Same chart, same price, same candles, different actions. Why? Because each trader's mental framework interprets the market differently. Your brain isn't wired to see what is. It's wired to protect you from pain. When you've been burned before, your mind creates associations. This looks like that one time I lost money. Be careful. Or, this setup looks like my last win. Go big. But here's the problem. Your brain is protecting you from the wrong threat. It's not protecting you from the market. It's protecting you from your own emotions. This is why you sabotage yourself. Not because you're not smart enough, but because your beliefs about uncertainty, risk, and failure are out of alignment with the reality of trading. Why professionals think differently. Elite traders, the top 5%, have one key advantage. They've trained their minds to accept uncertainty. They don't need to know what will happen next. They don't need to be right on every trade. They don't get emotionally attached to one setup, one candle, one outcome. While most traders are constantly fighting against randomness, professionals flow with it. They understand a simple truth: anything can happen. This belief is what frees them from fear. They know that losses are just part of the game. They know that one trade means nothing. It's just one in a series where their edge plays out. That's why professionals don't hesitate when opportunity shows up. They don't freeze, they don't second guess, and they don't revenge trade. They execute their plan and move forward. It's not discipline that makes them successful. It's alignment between their beliefs and the true nature of the market. The self-sabotage cycle. Most traders are trapped in a loop without even realizing it. You see a setup. You hesitate. What if I lose again? You enter late. You get stopped out. You feel frustrated. You chase the next trade to make it back. Sound familiar? This is called the pain avoidance cycle. The market triggers emotional pain. Your brain links it to danger. You act impulsively to protect yourself. The top traders break free from this by changing what pain means to them. For them, a loss isn't failure. It's feedback. That single shift allows them to stay calm while everyone else spirals into frustration and fear. Reprogramming your mindset. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Your results right now are the direct reflection of how you think. If you want different results, you need a different mental framework. Here's how you start. Step 1. Accept uncertainty. Stop expecting the market to behave a certain way. The only certainty in trading is uncertainty. When you truly believe this, you stop forcing trades and start responding to opportunities. Step 2. Define your risk first. Pros never enter a trade without knowing exactly where they're getting out. Losses become manageable and predictable when your risk is predefined. Step 3. Stop measuring success trade by trade. You don't need to win every battle to win the war. Judge yourself based on how well you executed your plan, not the result of one trade. Step 4. Focus on process, not outcome. Outcomes are random. Processes are consistent. Master your process, and your edge will eventually take care of the results. Step 5. Release the need to be right. The biggest killers of trading accounts are ego and certainty seeking. Professionals don't care about being right. They care about being profitable. Entering the flow state. Remember when we talked about the zone in the last segment? This is where you start living there. The flow state happens when you've accepted uncertainty, you trust your plan, you release emotional resistance. Suddenly, trading stops feeling like a constant fight. You're no longer reacting emotionally to the market. You're responding with clarity. Time slows down. Decisions feel effortless. Opportunities seem obvious. That's the zone where professionals live. Not because they're smarter, not because they're luckier, but because they've trained their mind to operate differently. Final thought. If you take nothing else from this, take this. You don't need to control the market. You need to control yourself. Your beliefs shape your perception shapes your actions, and your actions shape your results. Change the way you think, and you'll change the way you trade. The market is a battlefield, but the enemy isn't the chart, the strategy, or the brokers. The enemy is you. Every day, traders all over the world open their charts with the same tools, the same indicators, and the same opportunities. So why do 95% of traders still lose money, while a small, disciplined 5% continue to profit consistently? It's not luck, it's not intelligence, it's mindset. The misinterpretation trap. When you look at a chart, you're not actually seeing reality. You're seeing the market through the filter of your beliefs, your biases, and your emotions. Two traders, same setup, same time frame. One sees a massive opportunity to go long, the other sees a perfect reason to short. Neither trader is seeing the chart as it is. They're seeing what they want to see. The problem? The market doesn't care what you see. This is why most traders fail. They project their expectations onto the chart. They expect a breakout where there isn't one. They expect reversals where there's continuation. They expect the market to reward their analysis, their patience, their effort. But here's the truth professionals understand deeply. The market owes you nothing. The sooner you let go of your expectations, the faster you begin trading objectively. Why objectivity wins. Professional traders succeed because they've trained themselves to see what is, not what they hope for. They don't attach their ego to being right. They don't chase trades because they feel like the market owes them. They don't get stuck on what should happen. Instead, they ask one simple question. What's the market telling me right now? When the chart aligns with their plan, they execute. When it doesn't, they wait. That's it. No forcing trades, no emotional overreactions, no guessing. This discipline creates clarity, and clarity produces consistency. The science of fear. Here's why it's so hard for most traders to do this. Your brain isn't built for uncertainty. The moment you risk money, your body interprets it as danger. This triggers the amygdala, the fear center of your brain. Your heart rate spikes, your breathing changes, your focus narrows, your body goes into fight or flight mode. The problem? When the emotional brain takes over, your logical brain shuts down. That's why you hesitate on perfect setups. That's why you close trades too early. That's why you chase impulsive entries after a loss. Professional traders retrain their response. They embrace risk before they enter a trade. They say to themselves, I know this trade can lose, I accept it, I'm prepared for it. By accepting the worst-case scenario beforehand, they neutralize fear before it even shows up. This allows them to execute calmly while everyone else panics. Breaking the cycle of hesitation. Most losing traders know exactly what to do. Their strategy works, their setups are valid, but when it's time to execute, fear takes control. What if I lose? They hesitate. They miss the entry. Price moves without them. Now FOMO kicks in. They enter late. The market reverses. Another loss. This is the hesitation-frustration loop, and it destroys accounts. The professionals? They've built unshakable trust in their process. When their plan triggers, they act instantly. No hesitation, no second guessing, no emotional interference, because they know one trade means nothing. They're playing a long-term game where consistency, not perfection, creates results. Building a bulletproof mindset. Here's the framework professionals follow to stay calm, clear, and confident. Step 1. Redefine risk. Stop thinking of risk as danger. Start seeing it as the cost of doing business. Every business has expenses. In trading, your losses are your expenses. Step 2. Focus on probabilities, not certainty. You will never know what happens next, but you don't need to. Your edge is based on probabilities, not guarantees. Over hundreds of trades, following your plan beats guessing every time. Step 3. Eliminate emotional attachments. The market doesn't care if you had 3 losses in a row. It doesn't care how much you need this win. Detach your self-worth from your results, and you'll stop forcing trades. Step 4. Build unshakable trust in your plan. Hesitation disappears when you believe in your edge. Backtest it, track your trades, prove to yourself it works over time. Confidence isn't built by hoping, it's built by collecting evidence. Step 5. Commit to process over outcome. Every professional knows you can't control your wins, but you can control your execution. Focus on what you can control, and results will follow. Why most traders will still fail. Here's the harsh truth. Even after hearing this, most traders won't change. They'll keep searching for the perfect strategy. They'll keep fighting the market instead of understanding it. They'll keep trading emotionally, hoping luck will save them. But a few, the ones willing to put in the work on their mindset, will rise. They'll train their perception, they'll build their confidence, they'll master their risk, and slowly, they'll separate themselves from the 95%. Trading success isn't about outsmarting the market, it's about outsmarting yourself. If you've been trading for a while, you already know this. You don't fail because you don't know enough. You fail because you don't apply what you know. How many times have you told yourself, next time I'll follow my plan, next time I won't move my stop, next time I won't chase? And yet, when the next trade comes, you do the exact same thing. This isn't a lack of knowledge. This is a subconscious programming problem. Your trading decisions are driven by deeply conditioned habits built over years, maybe even decades, of responding to uncertainty, fear, and opportunity the wrong way. If you want to trade like a professional, you can't just change your strategy. You have to reprogram your mind. The subconscious problem. Here's something most traders don't realize. Up to 95% of your daily decisions come from your subconscious mind, not your conscious thinking. Your subconscious runs on automatic patterns built from your past experiences, losses, wins, fears, expectations, even childhood beliefs about money and risk. That's why you can know exactly what to do, but fail to do it. Your conscious mind says, stick to the plan. Your subconscious says, this looks scary, better avoid it. Your conscious mind says, cut the loss here. Your subconscious whispers, hold on, maybe it'll come back. And in trading, your subconscious almost always wins. That's why most traders stay stuck in the same destructive cycles, no matter how many strategies they learn or books they read. Why professionals break the cycle. Elite traders understand that trading isn't about finding the perfect system. It's about training the operator. They focus more on their mental conditioning than on indicators or setups. Professionals don't just manage trades, they manage themselves. They've developed the ability to stay calm under pressure, execute without hesitation, cut losses without emotion, follow their plan even after 3 losing trades in a row. The difference isn't intelligence, it's conditioning. They've trained their subconscious to respond automatically in alignment with their rules until the right actions become effortless. How traders get stuck. Most traders repeat the same mistakes because of emotional conditioning built from pain and fear. You take a loss. Your brain links trading equals pain. The next time you see a setup, you hesitate. You miss the entry. Now, FOMO kicks in. You enter late, chasing price. Another loss. This cycle reinforces itself until hesitation, fear, and frustration become your default state. Your subconscious locks you into survival mode, and survival mode kills consistency. Reprogramming your subconscious. Here's the truth. You can break these patterns, but it requires intentional mental training. Here's the process professionals use to rewire their minds for consistent execution. Step 1. Awareness. You can change what you don't acknowledge. Start tracking your trades, but not just the entries and exits. Track your thoughts, emotions, and triggers before, during, and after the trade. Patterns will appear. That awareness is the first step to rewiring them. Step 2. Visualization. Your brain doesn't know the difference between a vividly imagined experience and a real one. Visualize yourself executing perfectly, following your rules, cutting losses, letting winners run. This mental rehearsal conditions your subconscious to expect discipline. Step 3. Pre-commitment. Before you enter a trade, decide where you'll exit if you're wrong, how much you're willing to risk, what conditions will invalidate your setup. Locking these decisions beforehand removes emotional conflict when the heat is on. Step 4. Emotional neutrality training. Learn to detach from individual outcomes. One trade means nothing. Your job isn't to predict, it's to execute your edge over hundreds of trades. When you stop caring about the result of one trade, fear loses its grip. Step 5. Habit reinforcement. Consistency isn't built in one day, it's built by repetition. Every time you execute perfectly, regardless of win or loss, you strengthen the pathways in your brain that support disciplined action. Over time, this becomes automatic. Mental energy and trading performance. Here's something few traders talk about. Mental energy is a limited resource. Every decision you make drains it, especially when your beliefs and actions are in conflict. When you hesitate, second-guess, or fight your own rules, you burn enormous amounts of mental energy. That's why many traders perform worse after a long session, even when the setups are the same. Professional traders conserve energy by simplifying. They have clear rules. They don't debate setups endlessly. They don't micromanage their trades. They don't get caught up in what-ifs. The less emotional noise in your mind, the more energy you have to execute flawlessly. Peak performance, trading in flow. The goal isn't just discipline. The goal is to make discipline automatic, to enter the flow state where you act without hesitation, fear, or overthinking. Flow happens when three things align: belief in your edge, you trust your plan, acceptance of risk, you've embraced uncertainty, presence in the moment, you're not thinking about past losses or future gains. In this state, decisions become effortless. You're not chasing the market, you're moving with it. This is where professionals live, and this is why they succeed while 95% fail. The takeaway. Your strategies don't need to change. You do. The problem isn't your charts, indicators, or analysis. The problem is the automatic responses running in the background. Responses built on fear, pain, and survival instincts. To win, you must recondition your mind to act consistently, objectively, and decisively. Because until your beliefs align with the true nature of the market, you'll always be fighting yourself, and the market will win. But when you train your subconscious to operate in harmony with your edge, you finally unlock effortless execution. And that's when everything changes. Why do traders keep blowing up their accounts, even when they know what they should be doing? You know you shouldn't move your stop, but you do. You know you shouldn't risk too much, but you size up anyway. You know revenge trading destroys accounts, but you can't stop. This isn't about knowledge, it's about identity. The results you get in the market are a reflection of who you believe you are. Until your self-image aligns with the habits of a consistent, disciplined trader, your subconscious will keep pulling you back into the same destructive patterns, no matter how many strategies you learn. Your trading identity shapes everything. Every decision you make starts with one question, whether you realize it or not. Who am I in this moment? If your identity says, "I'm a struggling trader who needs to win back losses," you'll act from fear and scarcity. If your identity says, "I'm disciplined, patient, and profitable," you'll make different choices, even in the same situation. Here's the problem. Most traders try to force discipline while their self-image is still tied to inconsistency. That's like putting a high-performance engine into a broken car. It won't matter how powerful the tools are if the driver isn't ready. Professional traders build their results by rebuilding their identity from the ground up. They stop calling themselves struggling traders. They start calling themselves risk managers, decision makers, business operators. And slowly, their actions begin matching their beliefs. The brain under stress. To understand why 95% fail, we need to understand how the brain reacts to uncertainty. When money is on the line, your brain perceives risk as danger. This activates the amygdala, the fear center, triggering the fight or flight response. Heart rate increases, breathing shortens, vision narrows, impulses override logic. In this state, you're not thinking like a trader, you're thinking like a caveman trying to survive a predator attack. That's why you exit winners too early, fearing they'll reverse. Hold losers too long, hoping they'll come back. double down on bad trades, trying to escape pain. Professional traders bypass this problem by training their nervous system to stay calm under stress. They condition themselves so that risk feels normal. When uncertainty hits, they don't freeze, they don't panic, they execute. The emotional gap between knowing and doing. Every losing trader struggles with the same gap, knowing what to do, but failing to do it consistently. This gap exists because your subconscious beliefs override conscious logic. Your conscious mind says, "Follow the plan, this setup works." Your subconscious whispers, "But what if it fails? What if you lose again? Better wait, or risk more to make it back." This battle drains energy and causes hesitation, and the more energy you burn, the worse your performance gets. Professionals close this gap by aligning their beliefs with the true nature of the market. Once you truly accept that anything can happen on any trade, fear loses its grip. You stop forcing trades to work. You stop chasing setups that don't exist. You start executing with clarity. Becoming an objective trader. Objectivity means seeing the market exactly as it is, not as you want it to be. Most traders fail here because they attach emotions to every tick. They get euphoric after wins, angry after losses, and scared after drawdowns. That's why their decision-making is inconsistent. Their state of mind changes every time their P&L does. Professionals separate their identity from their results. A losing trade doesn't make them losers. A winning trade doesn't make them invincible. Every trade is just one event in a much bigger game. This detachment allows them to process information clearly and respond logically, while the 95% are still reacting emotionally. Rewiring your trading identity? Here's the step-by-step framework professionals use to transform their mindset. Step 1. Define who you want to become. Don't focus on profits yet, focus on who you need to be to earn them. Do you want to be a disciplined trader? Then build the habits of one. Step 2. Create a process-based identity. Stop calling yourself a winning or losing trader. Call yourself a risk manager or a decision maker. Your job isn't to win every trade. It's to execute a plan flawlessly. Step 3. Condition consistency. Repetition builds identity. Every time you follow your rules, you strengthen the belief, "I am disciplined." Do this enough times, and it stops being effort. It becomes automatic. Step 4. Remove emotional attachments. You're not your P&L. You're not your last trade. Detach your self-worth from outcomes and focus only on execution quality. Step 5. Trust the process. Consistency doesn't come from hoping for profits. It comes from trusting your edge and letting probabilities play out. When you become the trader whose identity is tied to discipline instead of results, success stops feeling like a constant battle. The power of neutral thinking. One of the most powerful techniques elite traders use is neutral thinking. This means removing emotional judgment from your actions. A losing trade isn't bad, a winning trade isn't good. They're both data points. This mindset keeps you focused on process, not ego. When the outcome stops controlling your emotions, your execution improves instantly. The turning point. Right now, you're at a decision point. You can stay where you are, trapped in the cycle of emotional trading, fighting the market, chasing wins, and watching losses pile up. Or you can choose the harder path, the path that leads to growth, consistency, and control. That path requires you to face your fears instead of avoiding them, accept uncertainty instead of resisting it, trade your plan instead of trading your emotions. This is where the transformation happens, not in your charts, not in your indicators, not in some secret strategy. The transformation happens inside you. The mindset of the 5%. Let's recap what the best traders live by. Anything can happen. They never get attached to outcomes. Losses are normal. They manage them, not fear them. The process matters more than results. They judge themselves by execution, not profit. Their identity is separate from their P&L. A loss doesn't make them losers. Consistency is built, not found. They trust their edge, and play the long game. This is the mindset shift that separates the winners from the crowd, and it's available to you right now. Closing message. If you take only one thing from everything you've heard today, let it be this. Trading success isn't about beating the market. It's about mastering yourself. Your edge, your strategy, your tools, they all matter. But they're useless without the right mindset. Start focusing less on finding the perfect trade and start focusing more on becoming the trader who can execute it. Because once your beliefs align with the reality of the market, you'll stop fighting, stop forcing, and start flowing. The 95% keep repeating the same mistakes. The 5% take full responsibility and evolve. The choice is yours. And if this inspired you, like this video, subscribe, and follow for more daily trading mindset tips. Your journey to becoming a consistently profitable trader starts now.